Before self-improvement, getting out of bed used to be a struggle for me. And not just only this, like a lot of things were a pretty big struggle for me. The main reason why why I couldn't do anything, and I don't mean physically couldn't do anything, I mean literally could not do jack shit. And this was all because of my mindset. This was all because a few years I was very feminine, you know? And I'm not afraid to admit that because I've changed now. I'm doing things to up my testosterone, but there are certain things that I did to kind of change my mindset to be more masculine. Now, the first thing you want to do is you have to understand that you have to be strong. No masculine man is weak, are they? Like, if you think about a very, very masculine man, they're not weak, are they? They work out, they go on runs, and it's not just physically weak. It's also mentally, they're not weak. Think about David Goggins. Alright? He's not just physically strong. I mean, he is very, very strong. But he's also mentally strong, you know? Physical strength and mental strength, you have to have a good balance between them. You have to do one, but you also have to balance the other. Now, another thing is that you have to have confidence. And not too much confidence either. Like, you don't want to be like a fucking ego shithead. You know, the guy in the gym who's always ego lifting. You have to be confident, but you have to deserve that level of confidence first. You have to build up to that level of confidence. Okay? Like me, I'm pretty confident in my climbing abilities, right? I can climb pretty well. You know? And I'm confident in that because I know through experience of me climbing that I am a good climber. I can climb pretty well. You know, you have to earn this confidence. You're not allowed to have confidence if you haven't worked for it. Now, the next thing that you want is leadership. All right. Now, a masculine man, he leads others. All right. He leads other people to become more masculine. You know? Or he leads other people through battle. Like, think about warriors, like great warriors. They led the battle, kind of, like essentially. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to be assertive. And I don't mean like be a dickhead either. Like, don't be a fucking dickhead. Don't be pushing people around. But you do have to have some kind of sense of assertiveness when you actually talk to people. Especially when they're not as far into self-improvement as you and you're actually trying to teach them. Like, I've been a year into self-improvement. That's why I feel like I deserve, or like I'm allowed to have a YouTube channel on self-improvement, because I've been on self-improvement for about a year now. Now, you have to have courage as well. Courage is a very, very important thing. It's pretty much just changing your mental state. Is pretty much how you get the courage to do certain things, you know? Like, you have to be very brave. A weak man isn't a fucking bitch like you, is he? Alright? He changes, and through that change comes all these things, like being braver, becoming more assertive. Alright? The next thing is you have to be independent. This is not my house. This is my parents' house. Also, if you see alcohol there, that's not mine. I don't drink it. It's my parents. I converted to Islam. My parents are Christian and Catholic. So if you see alcohol like this everywhere. But this is my parents' house. Now, does that mean that I'm not independent? No. I still make my own money. I'm still my own man. You know? I still have a control over my life and control what I do. My parents don't control me. Now that... Sorry. Now, that being said, if my parents tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. But that's because I have a level of respect for them. You always have to respect your parents. You always have to respect the people that gave you life and that gave you the place that you live in, that put food on your table. You always have to respect them because they've looked after you. But at the same time, you have to be independent. You also have to be very, very resilient. If something terrible happens, like something terrible happened yesterday, I'm not going to go into too much detail with it, but it's about my grandma. Alright? Something really, really bad has happened with my grandma, and that was yesterday. After I realized how bad the situation was, I still got up. I still picked myself up. I still made a video for you guys. And this is the kind of resilience as a man you have to have. You absolutely have to have this. It is very important for you to have this kind of resilience, this ability to bounce back. You also have to be responsible and hold accountability for your actions. Even if something isn't your fault, you should hold accountability for your actions. A weak man does not take responsibility. A weak man does not take accountability or responsibility for their actions. And even if something isn't your fault, you have to realize that as a man, it's your job to deal with it. Alright? And people are going to say all these things like, oh, it's not your fault. It's not your job. You should not give a fuck. If it is not your responsibility or if it is not your fault, the actions always have consequences. Every action has a consequence. Even if something is like 1% your fault, you take accountability for all of it. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm sorry I'm getting a bit like pissed off right now, but I'm just trying to help you guys. And I know some of you are gonna sit down and not take this information and continue to watch fucking YouTube and Pornhub all day, every day. And you refuse to take this information from me. So I'm getting a bit, holy shit, bro. I'm actually getting like fucking pissed off at you for being a bitch. You have to have determination to do things. How you get determination is one of the things is that you should write down your goals and you should work to achieve through them every day. Your biggest goals you should be focusing on the most. And speaking of focus, you have to stay focused. This is where I tell you the basic things like cut out video games, stop jacking off. I literally just made a video about how you should stop jacking off and you're still jacking off, bro. Like, what the fuck, man? I literally made that video yesterday. Holy shit. You have to have self-discipline, too. One of the biggest ways I built my discipline was exercising and praying. Now, as a Muslim, I pray 5 times a day. As a self-improvement YouTuber, or as someone who's on self-improvement, I do at least 200 push-ups a day. The minimum. 100 when I wake up, 100 before I go to bed. And these kinds of things, and not just these other things as well, builds up your discipline, builds up your courage. It builds up your resilience. Now the next thing you have to have, one of the last things you have to have is respect for other people. If I met someone like Hamza, right? I should respect him because he's above me, isn't he? Right? The same goes with a lot of other big self-improvement YouTubers. Like anyone over 1 million is probably more into self-improvement than I am. So if I talk to them, I need to treat them with respect. And it's not just these people you have to treat with respect. You have to treat everybody with respect. Don't be a fucking douchebag, bro. Like, I'm being serious. You can't be a fucking douchebag. Treat everybody with respect. That's about it for today's video. If you're into self-improvement content like this, like, subscribe, which obviously you are interested because you clicked on this video. Like, subscribe, share, one-on-one coaching. Email me in the email in the description. And as always, stay safe, Kings. I love you, bro.